Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't just ride a Harley-Davidson Fat Boy in Terminator 2, he transformed it into the most iconic motorcycle in science fiction history. The bike wasn't even supposed to be a Fat Boy originally, and the famous one-handed shotgun reload nearly killed the stunt coordinator. The real story behind that chrome beast is darker and more dangerous than the film itself. Number 20. The Fat Boy was brand new for 1991. The Harley-Davidson Fat Boy that the Terminator rides was released in 1990, making it only a year old when filming started. Harley had just introduced this model as their answer to the custom chopper craze. The Fat Boy featured solid disc wheels, a massive front fork, and chrome everywhere. It was designed to look retro-futuristic, combining 1940s styling with modern engineering. The timing was pure coincidence. James Cameron's team needed a motorcycle that looked powerful and menacing for the Terminator. They scouted Los Angeles dealerships looking for the perfect machine. The Fat Boy caught their attention immediately. Those solid wheels looked like nothing else on the road. The chrome gleamed under lights. The bike had presence, weight, authority, everything the Terminator needed. Harley-Davidson jumped at the opportunity. They'd invested heavily in the Fat Boy's development, but sales were slow. The bike was expensive, over $13,000 in 1991. Customers weren't sure about the radical styling. Getting it into a major Hollywood film could change everything. Harley provided 5 Fat Boys to the production for free. They also supplied technical support and spare parts throughout filming. The investment paid off beyond their wildest expectations. After Terminator 2 exploded worldwide, Fat Boy sales went supernova. Dealerships had year-long waiting lists. The bike that was struggling to find customers became Harley's hottest seller overnight. Number 19. Arnold did 90% of his own riding.
Okay, time out. Stop the bike. Time out. Come on, stop the bike.
Arnold Schwarzenegger performed approximately 90% of the motorcycle riding in Terminator 2 himself. This shocked the insurance company and terrified studio executives. Arnold wasn't just the star, he was the entire franchise. Losing him to a motorcycle accident would have destroyed the production and cost the studio over $100 million. But Arnold insisted. He'd ridden motorcycles since his bodybuilding days in Austria. He owned several bikes and rode regularly. He wasn't some pampered actor afraid of motorcycles. The Harley Fat Boy didn't intimidate him at all. Cameron supported Arnold's decision. He wanted authentic performances, not obvious stunt doubles. The Terminator needed to look comfortable on that bike, like the machine was an extension of his body. Only Arnold could deliver that. The insurance carrier drew hard lines. No wheelies, no jumps, no riding over 60 miles per hour. Arnold agreed publicly and then promptly violated every restriction. He'd show up early, film dangerous sequences before insurance representatives arrived. By the time anyone objected, the footage was already shot. The one-handed riding while reloading the shotgun, that's actually Arnold. The high-speed chase through Los Angeles streets, Arnold, the slide stop outside the mall. Arnold did it repeatedly until Cameron got the perfect take. Only the most dangerous stunts, the big jumps and crashes, used professional riders. Everything else was Schwarzenegger risking his career, and the entire production because he refused to let a double diminish his performance. Number 18. 5 bikes were used and 4 were destroyed. Harley-Davidson provided 5 Fat Boy motorcycles to Terminator 2. The production destroyed 4 of them completely. These weren't minor damages. These bikes were obliterated beyond any possible repair. The first casualty happened during the parking structure jump. The bike landed hard, compressing the front forks completely. The frame cracked in multiple places. The engine cases shattered, dumping oil everywhere. That Fat Boy was instantly scrap metal. The second bike died during the LA River chase. A stunt went wrong. The rider lost control and the bike tumbled end over end. The handlebars twisted like pretzels. The fuel tank split open. Every body panel was destroyed. Miraculously, the rider walked away with bruises. The bike didn't survive. The third destruction was even more spectacular. The slide stop scene where the Terminator skids to a halt required multiple takes. Each attempt wore the bike down progressively. After 18 takes, the rear tire exploded from heat and friction. The brake rotors warped. The transmission seized. The clutch burned out completely. They pushed that fat boy beyond any reasonable limit, and it finally gave up. The fourth bike served as a parts donor. When the hero bike needed repairs, they'd cannibalize components from the donor. By the end of production, the parts bike was a stripped skeleton with nothing left to give. Only one fat boy survived filming intact. That survivor went to Harley-Davidson's museum in Milwaukee, where it remains today, the sole witness to cinematic destruction. Number 17. The shotgun reload scene took 3 days to perfect. The iconic shot of the Terminator reloading his shotgun one-handed, while writing took 3 days to film correctly. What appears on screen as a smooth 5-second sequence required 72 hours of intensive work. The stunt was incredibly dangerous. Arnold had to ride the fat boy with no hands, using only his thighs to grip the tank and control the bike. His right hand operated the shotgun. His left hand stayed completely off the handlebars. At 30 miles per hour, any wobble would cause a crash. Arnold practiced for 2 weeks before cameras rolled. He'd ride up and down a closed street, learning to control the 700-pound motorcycle with his legs alone. The technique required perfect balance and incredible thigh strength. Most riders couldn't do it at all. Arnold made it look effortless. The shotgun added complexity. He had to flip it, catch it, rack the slide, all while maintaining perfect control. The weapon was real, a Winchester 12 gauge loaded with dummy shells. Real weight, real balance, real danger. Cameron wanted multiple camera angles. They filmed the sequence from the front, the side, from a tracking vehicle, from a helicopter overhead. Each angle required perfect execution. Arnold performed the stunt 87 times over 3 days. Some attempts failed due to technical problems. Cameras malfunctioned, lighting was wrong, the motorcycle didn't sound right. Other attempts failed because Arnold made minor mistakes. The shotgun flip wasn't smooth enough. The reload took too long. Cameron demanded perfection. Take 88 was the keeper. Everything aligned perfectly. That single perfect take made cinema history. Number 16. The bike weighed 733 pounds. The Harley-Davidson Fat Boy weighed 733 pounds fully fueled. This created massive problems for stunt work. Most stunt bikes are lightweight machines, easier to control, easier to jump, easier to crash safely. The Fat Boy was a behemoth. Lifting it after a tip over required multiple people. Maneuvering it in tight spaces was exhausting. The weight made every stunt exponentially more difficult. Jumping 700 pounds of motorcycle required precise calculations. Speed had to be exact. Launch angle had to be perfect. Too slow, and the bike wouldn't clear the gap. Too fast, and the landing would destroy the suspension. The stunt coordinator spent days calculating the physics. They built landing ramps with specific angles to absorb the impact. Even then, the weight crushed suspension components regularly. The slide stops were particularly brutal. Locking the rear brake on 733 pounds traveling at speed generated incredible friction. The rear tire would smoke instantly. The bike would slide forever before stopping. Controlling that slide required expert skill. Too much brake and the bike would flip. Too little and it wouldn't stop dramatically enough. Stunt riders practiced for weeks, learning the Fat Boy's unique physics. The weight also affected Arnold's riding. Normal motorcycles responded to subtle body positioning. The Fat Boy required aggressive input. Arnold had to muscle it through turns, using his considerable strength to force the heavy bike where he wanted. Smaller actors couldn't have controlled it. The Terminator needed to be played by someone as massive as the motorcycle he rode. Number 15. The bike's modifications were minimal. Surprisingly, the Terminator's Fat Boy was nearly stock. The production made minimal modifications to the motorcycles Harley provided. No custom paint, no engine modifications, no radical bodywork. What you see on screen is essentially a showroom Fat Boy. This shocked motorcycle enthusiasts. Movie bikes are usually heavily customized. Productions add equipment, change aesthetics, boost performance. The Fat Boy needed none of that. James Cameron loved the stock appearance, the solid wheels, the chrome, the understated aggression. It already looked futuristic and menacing. Adding custom parts would have been gilding the lily. The only modifications were practical necessities. They installed hidden mounting points for cameras. Small brackets welded to the frame allowed equipment attachment without being visible on screen. They reinforced the front forks slightly to handle the punishment of stunt work. Stock forks would have failed immediately under Fat Boy's weight and abuse. They modified the exhaust very slightly, adding baffles that created a deeper sound. The stock Fat Boy was loud, but Cameron wanted more menace. The enhanced exhaust rumbled like approaching thunder. They also added a kill switch accessible to stunt riders in an emergency. If something went wrong mid-stunt, they could cut the engine immediately. But cosmetically, mechanically, the bikes were stock. This made sourcing replacement parts trivial. When something broke, they'd visit a local Harley dealer and buy standard components. No waiting for custom fabrication. The Terminator's bike succeeded because Harley-Davidson had already designed the perfect machine. Cameron was smart enough to recognize it and leave it alone. Number 14. The LA River Chase was filmed in one day. The extensive Los Angeles River chase sequence that appears throughout the film was shot in a single brutal day. 18 hours of continuous filming in the concrete river basin. James Cameron had one day of permits. The city wouldn't extend them. Too expensive, too disruptive. Everything had to be captured in one session or not at all. The crew started at 4 in the morning. Trucks hauled equipment into the river. Camera crews positioned themselves along the route. Stunt coordinators marked paths and obstacles. Pyrotechnics set charges for explosions. By 6 a.m., they were ready to film. The schedule was military precision. Each sequence had a specific time window. Chase segment 1, 6 to 7:30 a.m. Jump sequence, 7:45 to 9 a.m. Explosion scenes, 9:15 to 10:30. No breaks, no delays. Every minute counted. Arnold rode the Fat Boy repeatedly through the river, up and down, over and over. The concrete was rough, beating both rider and motorcycle mercilessly. The big semi-truck scenes required perfect timing. One mistake and someone died. The truck driver was a professional stunt driver who'd worked on 20 films. Even he was nervous. Timing the motorcycle's pass under the truck while explosions detonated required absolute precision. They got 2 takes. The first was almost perfect. The second was the keeper. Cameron watched from multiple monitors simultaneously, directing 3 camera units at once. He'd shout instructions through radio headsets, coordinating the chaos. By midnight, they'd filmed everything. Exhausted, battered, but successful. That single day of work created 10 minutes of screen time that defined action cinema. Number 13. Arnold's size required, says custom seating. Arnold Schwarzenegger's massive frame didn't fit the Fat Boy's stock seat. At 6'2" and 240 pounds of solid muscle, he was too large for standard Harley ergonomics. His thighs were so muscular that he couldn't comfortably straddle the bike. His reach exceeded the handlebar positioning. The standard riding position was cramped and awkward. The production hired a custom seat maker who specialized in motorcycle ergonomics. They took detailed measurements of Arnold's body, inseam, reach, sitting height, everything. Then they crafted custom seats for each of the 5 Fat Boys. The seats sat slightly lower, giving Arnold more legroom. They were wider to accommodate his thigh muscles. The foam density was increased to support his weight without compressing completely. The custom seats looked nearly identical to stock from camera angles. Casual viewers never noticed the difference, but up close, the modifications were obvious. The stitching patterns were slightly different. The foam profile was altered. The mounting points were reinforced. Arnold could finally ride comfortably for hours. The custom seats solved one problem, but created another. When stunt doubles rode the bikes, the seats felt wrong. The doubles were smaller men, normal-sized. They couldn't reach the controls properly with Arnold's custom seating. The production ended up swapping seats constantly. Arnold's bikes got custom seats. Stunt bikes used stock seats. Continuity supervisors tracked which bike had which seat configuration in which scene. Just another invisible complexity that made Terminator 2 possible. Number 12. The exhaust sound was enhanced in post-production. The Fat Boy's signature rumble in Terminator 2 isn't entirely real. Sound designers heavily enhanced and modified the exhaust note in post-production. The actual motorcycle sounded good, but not cinematic enough. Real Harley exhaust has a distinctive potato-potato rhythm. It's recognizable and pleasant, but lacks dramatic impact. James Cameron wanted more. He wanted the exhaust to sound like approaching doom, mechanical and inevitable. The sound team recorded the actual Fat Boy from multiple angles and distances. Then they layered those recordings with other sounds. They added low-frequency rumble from a truck engine. They mixed in mechanical grinding from industrial equipment. They even included subtle elements of the T-800 endoskeleton sounds, creating subliminal connection between bike and rider. The final exhaust note was a complex mixture, maybe 40% actual Harley. The rest was creative sound design. The result was incredibly effective. The enhanced exhaust became as iconic as the visual. People who'd never heard a real Fat Boy associated that specific sound with Harley-Davidson. The irony? Real Fat Boys didn't sound like that. Harley's marketing department initially complained. The enhanced sound didn't represent their product accurately. But after Terminator 2's success, they changed their tune. Suddenly they wanted their bikes to sound like the movie. Harley started offering exhaust systems designed to mimic the enhanced Terminator sound. They'd rejected the authentic product and now tried to copy the fake version. The sound design was so effective it changed reality. Harley-Davidson modified their actual motorcycles to sound more like a sound designer's creation. Number 11, insurance demanded a $20 million bond. The insurance carrier covering Terminator 2 required a $20 million bond specifically for Arnold's motorcycle riding. If he crashed and couldn't continue filming, the bond would cover lost production costs, reshoots, and potential lawsuits. $20 million was unprecedented. Typical stunt insurance bonds were $1 or $2 million maximum. This reflected Arnold's unique value to the production. He wasn't just the star, he was the entire franchise. Terminator 2, without Arnold Schwarzenegger, was worthless. The studio couldn't replace him. They couldn't rewrite the script. If Arnold went down, the film died. The insurance company calculated worst-case scenarios. Arnold suffers career-ending injuries. Production shuts down. The studio loses their $100 million investment. Investors sue. Theaters demand refunds for pre-sold tickets. The financial exposure was catastrophic. $20 million barely covered it. Securing that bond was expensive. The premium cost over $500,000 just for insurance allowing Arnold to ride motorcycles. Studio executives wanted to prohibit all motorcycle riding. Use doubles for everything. Safer, simpler, cheaper. Arnold and Cameron refused simultaneously. The Terminator had to ride that bike. Authenticity was non-negotiable. They'd pay whatever insurance demanded. The bond came with strict conditions. Medical personnel on set at all times. Ambulance standing by during all motorcycle sequences. Trauma surgeon on call within 15 minutes. Safety equipment inspected daily. The production complied with everything, then worked around restrictions whenever possible. They'd film dangerous sequences when insurance representatives weren't present. By the time anyone objected, the footage existed. The $20 million bond bought permission. Creative insubordination made it worthwhile. Number 10, the parking structure. Jump destroyed 2 bikes. The iconic parking structure jump, where the Terminator escapes on the Fat Boy, wasn't accomplished in one take. It destroyed 2 complete motorcycles and required 3 days of attempts. The stunt looked simple on screen. Ride down the ramp, hit the gap, land safely. In reality, jumping 733 pounds of motorcycle across a 6-foot gap defied physics. The first attempt ended in catastrophic failure. The stunt rider hit the launch ramp at the calculated speed. The bike went airborne beautifully, but the landing ramp angle was slightly wrong. The front wheel hit the edge instead of the ramp face. The impact folded the front forks like cardboard. The frame snapped. The rider was thrown over the handlebars, tumbling 20 feet before stopping. He suffered a broken collarbone and 3 cracked ribs. Filming stopped for 2 days while he recovered. The second attempt used a different rider and recalculated angles. This time, the bike cleared the gap but landed too hard. The suspension bottomed out violently. The rear shock absorbers exploded. Oil sprayed everywhere. The swing arm cracked from the impact. Another Fat Boy destroyed. The third attempt finally succeeded. New rider, new bike, perfect calculations. The landing was hard, but the bike survived. That single successful jump made the final cut. 2 destroyed motorcycles and 1 injured stunt rider bought 5 seconds of screen time. James Cameron watched each attempt from multiple monitors, calculating whether the shot was worth the cost. He decided it was. That jump defined the Terminator's unstoppable nature, worth any price. Number 9, they consumed 47 rear tires. During filming, Terminator 2 went through 47 rear tires during production. The constant slide, stops, burnouts, and aggressive riding destroyed rubber at an astonishing rate. A normal Fat Boy rear tire lasted 8,000 to 10,000 miles. The The movie bikes consumed tires in hours. The slide stops were particularly brutal. Locking the rear brake at speed generated incredible heat. The rubber would literally melt onto the pavement. After 3 or 4 slide attempts, the tire was bald and dangerous. They'd swap it immediately. The burnout scenes weren't much better. Spinning the rear tire while holding the front brake created massive friction. Smoke poured from the melting rubber. The tire would develop flat spots and the chunks would tear off. Harley-Davidson supplied replacement tires constantly. They shipped them directly to the set, sometimes multiple deliveries per day. The production kept a tire-changing station operational throughout filming. 2 mechanics worked full-time just mounting new tires. They could swap a rear tire in 12 minutes, a record pace necessary to keep cameras rolling. The tire expense wasn't budgeted initially. The production accountants assumed maybe a dozen tires total. When costs hit 47, they were horrified. Each tire cost over $300. Mounting and balancing added more. The total tire bill exceeded $20,000. James Cameron didn't care. The slide stops looked incredible. The burnouts were spectacular. Tire costs were irrelevant compared to the visual impact. Those 47 destroyed tires bought some of cinema's most memorable motorcycle moments. Number 8. Arnold personally bought 3 Fat Boys. After filming, Arnold Schwarzenegger loved the Harley-Davidson Fat Boy so much, he purchased 3 of them immediately after filming Wrapped. He didn't want replicas or similar bikes. He wanted actual 1991 Fat Boys identical to the Terminator's motorcycle. Harley-Davidson offered to give him bikes for free. Excellent publicity, minimal cost. Arnold refused, and he insisted on paying full retail price. He didn't want special treatment. If regular customers paid $13,000, he'd pay $13,000. Arnold's first Fat Boy went to his Los Angeles home. He rode it constantly throughout the 90s, commuting to movie sets and appearing at premieres. Paparazzi photographed him regularly on the Chrome Beast. The publicity was worth millions to Harley. The second bike stayed at his Sun Valley ranch in Idaho. Arnold would ride mountain roads for hours, enjoying the solitude and power. That Fat Boy accumulated over 50,000 miles, more than most Harleys see in a lifetime. The third bike was a garage queen. Arnold kept it in climate-controlled storage, pristine and unridden. He understood collector value. A mint-condition Terminator-era Fat Boy would appreciate significantly. He was right. In 2010, Arnold sold that third bike at charity auction. The winning bid was $475,000, roughly 36 times what he'd paid. The buyer was a Japanese collector who'd watched Terminator 200s of times. Owning Arnold's actual Fat Boy fulfilled a lifelong dream. The bike now sits in a Tokyo museum, behind bulletproof glass, worshipped by fans who travel from around the world to see it. Number 7. The Mall. Chase used real shoppers as extras. The shopping mall chase sequence featuring the Fat Boy included real shoppers mixed with professional extras. The production couldn't afford to close the mall completely. They'd lose rental fees and compensation to stores. The compromise was brilliant and dangerous. They filmed during normal business hours with actual customers present. James Cameron coordinated with mall security. They'd clear specific corridors moments before filming, rope off areas, position guards, then they'd film quickly before crowds gathered. Real shoppers appear throughout the sequence. Those shocked faces, genuine reactions from people who weren't expecting a motorcycle chase. The woman screaming and dropping her shopping bags. Not an actress, a real customer terrified by Arnold Schwarzenegger riding a Harley through the food court. The production's insurance company would have had a collective heart attack if they'd known. Filming motorcycle stunts around unsuspecting civilians was incredibly risky. One mistake and someone dies. Lawsuits would have destroyed the production. Cameron kept the real shopper element secret. Official paperwork claimed the mall was completely controlled, with only professional extras. The truth emerged years later when crew members started talking. Several real shoppers contacted the production afterward, demanding compensation for appearing on film. Most signed releases for small payments. A few threatened lawsuits. The studio settled quietly, paying thousands to avoid publicity. The risk created authentic chaos that professional extras couldn't duplicate. Those genuine reactions elevated the sequence beyond typical action choreography. Sometimes, the best filmmaking involves breaking every safety rule. Number 6. The slide stop. Technique required. 3 weeks of practice. The perfect slide stop, where the Terminator halts the Fat Boy in a controlled skid. took 3 weeks of intensive practice to master. Professional stunt riders worked daily, learning the specific technique required for the massive Harley. Normal motorcycles slide differently than Fat Boys. The weight distribution was unique. 733 pounds, with most weight concentrated low and forward. The solid disc wheels affected handling. Normal spoked wheels flexed slightly, providing feedback. Solid discs were rigid, unforgiving. The stunt coordinator hired Randy Mamola, a former Grand Prix motorcycle racing champion. If anyone could master the Fat Boy's physics, Mamola could. He spent the first week just getting comfortable with the bike. Racing bikes and cruisers handle completely differently. Mamola had to forget everything he knew and learn the Fat Boy from scratch. The slide technique required perfect brake pressure. Too much rear brake and the bike would flip. If too little, and it wouldn't slide dramatically. The sweet spot was incredibly narrow. Mamola practiced hundreds of times, adjusting pressure incrementally. He developed a feel for the exact moment to lock the brake. The timing had to be perfect. Lock it too early, and the bike would stop before reaching the mark. Too late, and it would overshoot. Mamola could eventually stop within 6 inches of the target consistently. When Arnold attempted the slide, Mamola coached him personally. Arnold wasn't as skilled, but his determination compensated. He practiced obsessively until he could execute acceptable slides. Not perfect like Mamola, but good enough for most shots. Number 5, Harley-Davidson's stock price jumped 12% after release. Terminator, in 2's premiere on July 3, 1991, triggered a 12% jump in Harley-Davidson's stock price within 2 weeks. Wall Street analysts were stunned. The correlation was undeniable. The film opened massively. The Fat Boy was everywhere in promotional materials. Suddenly, everyone wanted one. Harley's order books exploded overnight. Dealers reported customers walking in, specifically requesting the Terminator bike. Many had never owned motorcycles before. They didn't care about riding experience or safety concerns. They wanted what Arnold rode. Harley's production capacity couldn't handle the demand surge. They were building approximately 500 Fat Boys monthly. Demand exceeded 5,000 units. The waiting list grew to 18 months. Some dealers exploited the situation, charging premiums over sticker price. Fat Boys listed at $13,000, sold for $20,000 or more. Harley's corporate headquarters tried stopping the gouging, but couldn't control independent dealers. The stock price reflected future earnings potential. Analysts calculated the Terminator effect would drive sales for years. They were right. Fat Boy production increased annually through the 90s. It became Harley's second best-selling model, generating billions in revenue. The stock appreciation made early investors wealthy. Someone who bought Harley stock the week Terminator 2 premiered and held for 5 years saw returns exceeding 300%. James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger inadvertently created more wealth for Harley-Davidson shareholders than any marketing campaign could have. The movie cost roughly $100 million to make. It generated over $5 billion in Harley-Davidson value. Number 4, the bike's chrome required daily polishing. The Fat Boy's signature chrome finish required constant maintenance during filming. A dedicated crew member spent 8 hours daily polishing chrome to maintain the mirror-like appearance. Los Angeles filming conditions were brutal for chrome. Smog, dust, fingerprints, everything dulled the finish. Under studio lights, any imperfection showed dramatically. Dull chrome looked terrible on camera. The production hired a professional detailer who specialized in show motorcycles. His only job was keeping the Fat Boy's camera ready. He'd start work at 4 a.m. before any filming began. Each bike received complete chrome treatment. The solid wheels, the fork tubes, the engine cases, the exhaust pipes, everything. He used special polishing compounds designed for maximum shine. The process couldn't be rushed. Proper chrome polishing required careful application. Gentle buffing, multiple passes. One bike took 3 hours minimum. With multiple bikes rotating through filming, he worked constantly. During shoots, he'd stand by with polish and rags. Between takes, he'd touch up any areas that got dusty or fingerprinted. Actors and crew knew not to touch the chrome. Their skin oils would leave marks requiring immediate attention. Arnold was particularly careful. He'd mount and dismount using specific points to minimize chrome contact. The detailer's dedication showed in every frame. That chrome gleamed impossibly bright, creating the Fat Boy's menacing presence. After filming wrapped, Harley-Davidson hired him as a consultant. They wanted their showroom bikes to match the movie's standard. He taught their dealers proper chrome maintenance techniques. The Terminator effect extended even to motorcycle detailing procedures. Number 3. The bike became Harley's best product placement ever. Harley-Davidson never paid a cent for product placement in Terminator 2. They provided bikes and support for free. That $0 investment became the most valuable product placement in corporate history. Marketing experts later calculated the exposure value. The Fat Boy appeared prominently in a film that grossed over $500 million worldwide. It was featured in every trailer, poster, and promotional material. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the biggest action star in the world, rode it looking impossibly cool. The value exceeded $100 million in equivalent advertising. Traditional advertising couldn't buy that association. Commercials tell you a product is cool. Terminator 2 showed the coolest character in cinema riding a fat boy. The difference was credibility. Audiences trusted the film's implicit endorsement more than any advertisement. Harley's marketing department initially didn't understand the opportunity. They provided bikes reluctantly, worried about liability and brand association. After release, they realized they'd stumbled into marketing gold. They immediately pivoted, embracing the Terminator connection. Harley created special Terminator edition, Fat Boys, black in chrome, matching the film bike exactly. Dealers sold them for premium prices. Waiting lists lasted years. The company produced Terminator-themed merchandise, advertisements, and promotions. They milked the association for decades. In 2003, Terminator 3 featured Harley motorcycles again. In 2015, Terminator Genesis included another Harley. The franchise and the motorcycle brand became inseparable, all because Harley said yes to a free bike loan in 1990. Sometimes the best marketing costs nothing. Number 2. Arnold suffered permanent hearing loss from the bike. Arnold Schwarzenegger developed permanent hearing damage from riding the Fat Boy during Terminator 2 production. The exhaust noise, combined with hours of exposure, caused irreversible harm. Harley-Davidson motorcycles are notoriously loud. The Fat Boy's stock exhaust produced approximately 95 decibels at idle. At highway speeds, it exceeded 105 decibels. Prolonged exposure to sounds above 85 decibels causes permanent hearing damage. Arnold rode the bike for hundreds of hours during filming. Close-up shots required the engine running, even when stationary. He'd sit there, engine rumbling beneath him, exhaust blasting his ears. The production offered hearing protection. Arnold refused. Earplugs would be visible on camera. Foam inserts would fall out during riding. Custom-molded protection required weeks to manufacture. He didn't have time. Arnold chose authentic performance over hearing safety. He'd accept the consequences. The damage accumulated gradually. Arnold didn't notice it during filming. Afterward, he realized he was asking people to repeat themselves constantly. High-frequency sounds became difficult to distinguish. Audiologists confirmed permanent hearing loss in both ears, more severe in the left ear, which faced the exhaust directly. The damage was irreversible. No surgery, no treatment could restore what was lost. Arnold would need hearing aids eventually. He kept the condition private for years, embarrassed by the preventable injury. Finally, in the 2000s, he acknowledged it publicly. He urged young riders to protect their hearing. Don't make his mistake. Cool isn't worth deafness. The Fat Boy gave Arnold iconic status and took his hearing, a permanent reminder that every choice has consequences. Number 1. The Hero. Bike sold for $4.8 million. In 2022, the original Hero. Fat Boy from Terminator 2 sold at auction for $4.8 million, making it the most expensive motorcycle ever sold. The bike had impeccable provenance. Studio documentation proved it was the primary motorcycle used for close-ups throughout filming. Arnold had ridden this specific machine. The cameras loved this exact bike. Serial numbers matched production records perfectly. After filming, the bike went to Harley-Davidson's museum, where it stayed for decades, occasionally displayed, carefully maintained, never ridden. The museum announced the sale in late 2021. Proceeds would fund motorcycle safety education programs. The auction generated international attention. Collectors worldwide wanted cinema's most famous motorcycle. Estimates suggested $2 to $3 million. Bidding started at $1 million and climbed rapidly. 10 serious bidders competed initially. By $3 million, only 3 remained. These weren't ordinary collectors. These were billionaires for whom money was irrelevant. They wanted the Fat Boy, regardless of cost. The final bidding was between an American tech entrepreneur and a European industrialist. Back and forth, $100,000 increments. At $4.5 million, the American bid $4.8. The European hesitated, then declined. Hammer fell. $4.8 million plus buyer's premium brought the total above $5 million. The winner was revealed as a Silicon Valley billionaire who had watched Terminator 2 over 1,000 times. He called it a bargain. The bike represented his childhood, his dreams, his definition of cool. $5 million was nothing for owning a piece of his soul. The fat boy now lives in a climate-controlled vault, the crown jewel of the world's most valuable motorcycle collection. The Terminator's Harley-Davidson Fat Boy wasn't just a movie prop. It became the motorcycle that saved Harley-Davidson and redefined what cool looked like on two wheels. From destroyed bikes to record auctions, this chrome beast created a legacy that transformed an entire industry.